The last part of this lesson is going to be talking about high-speed repeaters. And we've used repeaters in the past to strengthen the signal beyond 16. So let me just lay some redstone out here first. And we'll get to the point where we know it won't repeat. We'll go back to the beginning. Put down our power source and turn it on. And as we can see, we get to this point right here. So what we've been doing is we've been placing a repeater right there. When you're building very long runs of wire, and some of the runs that we might be making for the circuits we build, as they get more complicated, could be very long, 140 blocks or 300 or even 500 blocks. And so adding a lot of these repeaters can be a little bit slower. There is one way to speed this up. So I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to move over. We're going to do the same thing, even with this particular one. And right alongside it, I will put some redstone down again. We'll make sure we move past this, and we will connect it to the same power source. There it is. Now we know this will end a little bit earlier. It's going to end 1 square earlier, or 2 in this case, because we have a chunk of wire there, a chunk of wire there. What we'll do is we'll move this repeater to equal it up to here. And delete that, go back with the redstone wire here. So now, when I were to put a repeater here, you'll see we have exactly the same strength that we did before. And there it is. So as you can see here, on this side of the repeater, we have the same strength. Now we're going to be doing something a little bit different on this side. I'm going to show you how to build a faster repeater than this. And the way you do it is you put down a block, and then 4 later you put down another block. So you have a block, you have a gap of 2, and then a block here. Then what you do is you put a piston on top of this, facing this direction. You put a piston down here, facing this direction. Okay, it's not on, it can be attached to that block, like so. Then we just take a redstone block, which I'm going to add back to my inventory. And you put it on the end of this. Okay, so that causes that bottom piston to push this way. The top piston is pushed this way. This block powers the bottom piston, which causes this piston to go this way. Now all I need to do is put my redstone dust on top here, and you can see that I have the strength again. So I can go on out as far as I would like to 1, of course, there. We'll do the same thing here. Now the big difference is you see you lose 2 blocks of length. So while I was able to go from here at 15, my strength 15 starts here, which as you can see, I've lost 2 blocks. You do use a little more of these. I'm going to go ahead and put a repeater here, and we're going to build another one of these. Once again, you build a block, skip 2, put a block, you put a piston on the bottom here, piston on the top there, redstone block there. And then your wire continues. Now there's no reason you couldn't connect. If you wanted a device to connect from here, you can do that. So you don't really lose that. And then we keep going. And I'm going to do that once again until I reach 1. And right here's the next one. And I'm just going to speed this up. I'm going to extend both of these out pretty far so that we get an idea of the difference in speed. And I will continue to build these. There's no reason for you to continue, so I will just do that, and we will go from there. Okay, so here we are. This is what I built on the end. This side to my left is the high speed. This side over here is just regular repeaters. And then I've attached a couple of lamps so that we can see. We'll go back down to this end. and we'll see what we have. So over here, once again, you see this is a very long run. I've got the high speed going to be on our left this way. When I get to the end here, it'll be to our right. The only difference that I'm going to do is give them equal shot at this by moving the switch to here and turning it on. All right, we're set. Now we can see the lights in front of me. We have the lights on the left are the repeaters. The lights on the right are the high-speed repeaters. When I click here, we'll see which one comes on first. Okay, it's a slight difference. Coming on, here we go, on. Okay, so they're pretty close. But not quite. So what this means is, if this was a very long run, and it's a decently long run now, but for some of the runs we can do, when we talk about building a bus in the next video, it could be much larger. It may start there at the edge of the world that you see way here and run all the way through to the edge of that world. You see Minecraft is actually still building this for us. So in this case, you may decide you want to use the high-speed repeaters. I put it in here just for you to do if you want to do that. They take up a little more space. They are a little bit faster on the rise, and then on the fall, quite a bit faster. So on the rise, pretty close, but on the falling edge of the power, quite a bit faster. So it really depends on what you're after. Once again, the rise and the fall. I will build a construct that will show just how different this can be. And of course, what you can do is start way back there and then turn this on, make it night, and you can see that these will actually get there quicker. Up to you. I, in general, I'm only going to use the high-speed repeaters on very, very long runs because the repeaters are pretty close in speed. Now, if you're building a falling edge circuit where speed is important, that means when you lose the power, this is the rising edge right here. And then the falling edge is we have continuous power, so the falling edge is when you turn it off. That's the falling edge. You can see the difference. So these are one type of, these are called instant on circuits because they happen very quickly. So once again, block, 2 pistons, a redstone block here, redstone wire on top of this one, and then redstone wire here. So that is a high-speed repeater. You can choose to use them on long runs if you want. You do get, even on the smaller run, you do get a little bit of a difference. So I've built a much longer one here. You can see I elevated this to make it easier. There's the first place that we built last time. I built it all the way back to there. I'll turn this on and you can see those lights light up back there. Power off. And there they are. So you can see them down there. We'll be able to also see them from standing here on the switch. And to make it super easy, we're just going to set the time to night. So let me do that. All right, here we go. We simply say time set midnight. And there we go. You can see them on. I'll look down here. Here's all the stuff we've built in Minecraft Night. I'm going to pull the lever and we'll see. Remember, the one on the left is the repeaters. The one on the right is the high-speed repeaters using the piston and the redstone. Here we go. On. And at that distance, you can clearly see there's a difference between the left and the right side. I'll turn it off. There it goes. I'll turn it on. And you can see it down there. All right. I think the only other thing that I can do to make this possibly a little clearer is I'll just take these lights off in the middle so that we can see exactly when those lights on the very end come on. I think it'll be pretty clear, but just to make sure, sometimes the videos don't show exactly what you see here. I will take off these lights here. reconnect the redstone. And we'll go back to the switch and pull it. Now it does take a little bit more of the high-speed repeaters. As you can see, there's generally a few more of those than the regular repeaters because they are larger and they do take technically 2 units of space away. This block, if you'll notice, is actually 4. It's 1, 2, 3, but because you can wire off of this block like this, it really doesn't matter. So I consider this a 1, 2, 3, and it's too high. Okay. All right, let me get back up here. Make sure I can reach the lever. We're going to look out there. Here we go. Click. And there you have it. So the high-speed repeaters, probably at this point, at this distance, we're gaining, at least on the rising edge, I would say, maybe about 4 ticks. So that is 4/10, or basically 2/5 of a second, somewhere in there, maybe a little more. There's the off, the rising edge comes up. All right, yeah, I would probably say somewhere around that time frame. So if I had doubled this length from here all the way back into that direction, or just simply gone forward this way when I click this, you would gain almost a second or so. And that's really not a big difference in game time or game terms, but the problem is if you're building a circuit that has a couple thousands of these wires, and it may take maybe 10 seconds for the circuit to complete one cycle, then having these in place on some of the major areas actually can save you. If you're saving a second for every 10 or 2 seconds for every 10, then you can actually increase your time of maybe 20 or 30 seconds throughout the full circuit. So whether you use these high-speed repeaters or not, it really doesn't matter. It's up to you. I do like them because, as you can see, over very long runs and lots of wire, they do save you some time. All right, that is it for this episode of Math, Minecraft, and Computers. Hope you enjoyed the intermediate